This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief has been brought to you by Casual Game Revolution. It's an organization that aims to make board gaming more accessible to people of all ages. They're passionate about casual games, relatively quick games, and easy games to learn and set up and play and have fun. You can find out more about them at casualgamerevolution.com. And thank you very much to them for sponsoring this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Howdy there, Quickshot Quentin speaking here. Life in this here frontier isn't so easy. Everywhere you go, there's a chance of you dying. Being an outlaw isn't an easy job. It takes hard work. My job is to take out 9 outlaws and law enforcers who are trying to make my mark on history a short one. In the frontier, there are also a slew of critters, including coyotes and buzzards, calamities like dust devils and grave robbers, and other events on the range such as cattle drives and exploring mines. But before I can explore the frontier, I have the option of buying and selling from stores. Don't want to make enemies with everyone, you know. I can stock up on bullets, rations, holsters, horses, which allow you to flee from duels, critters, and some calamities, and most importantly, guns, the 6-shooter and repeating rifle, at any of these 3 stores: saloon, mercantile, and the gunsmith. I can also use any rations I have to gain more stamina too. Now there are others like me out there with the same idea, so my goal is to become as notorious as possible by increasing my notoriety. This completely changes everything and gives me bonuses such as extra bullets with purchases and supplies costing less at stores. While notoriety is important, collecting bounty is by far the most vital. Defeating other outlaws and the law enforcers grants you bounty, as well as defeating pesky critters. Also, any leftover supplies and stamina count toward this bounty goal. Good luck, you'll need it.
Sound familiar to you? It didn't to me either, but that is the story of gameplay of Frontier, the card game, a new game on Kickstarter, and we're lucky enough to have on Joshua McMurray, the creator and mastermind behind that from Meet Me at the Table Games. Am I right on that, Joshua?
That is absolutely correct.
Cool beans. So yeah, thanks for coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it. So let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into tabletop gaming?
Tabletop gaming, my whole life I've done it, and I still have a day job, and I'm trying to pursue my career as a tabletop game creator. So
you still have a day job, so that means you're not your table. Meet me by the what was it called? The name of your company?
Meet Me at the Table Games.
Meet Me at the Table Games. So that's not your full-time gig?
It is to me, but yeah, it's what I spend my entire evenings doing.
Cool.
So,
what do you do for work?
I run a storage facility.
Cool. Yeah, I forgot to say, although everybody listening, you probably know that's Princess Lee, but she decided to join us tonight. So, yeah, storage facilities. So, like, if somebody wanted to, is that where people go ahead and rent, like, I guess, storage facilities or whatnot, like, for to store their stuff they can't get?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just people who, are moving or, things like that. So, relatively not, it's kind of boring. So, I use my time to, come up with game ideas and then I just work on them, stay up till 3, 4 in the morning trying to get stuff done. So.
Well, there we go. Yeah, I was going to ask, we don't want to get you in trouble at work, but are you able to do much with your games while you're waiting for people new clients to come in and or people to, I don't know if it goes down like in some of the shows that I see where they have like, people who are looking for other people come and ask and try to get the key so they can find criminals and stuff. But is there a lot of wait time at your job? So we don't want to get in trouble though.
Oh no. I actually have approval from them to work on this kind of stuff. So I was in school last semester, so I just recently almost finished up and decided to pursue my gaming goals. So.
Well, there you go. So how do you have time to work on a game while you're doing school?
It's not an easy task, that's for sure. So I have to, I as my degree, I am pursuing game design. So in a tabletop sense. So I'm trying to get that going.
That makes it a little bit easier then.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
How many games did you make?
Well, I've created quite a few. As far as artwork goes and the game's actually being completed, this is our first one. We have another one actually in the works right now. The artist is actually taking her time creating that one. That one is what I consider to be my baby. It's a very fun game.
Cool. So I don't know if you want to divulge any dirt on that one, or if
Sure.
it's too much in the baking or whatnot still.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, so you play the role of monsters, and I mean like monsters as in like giant monsters, like Godzilla like monsters, King Kong like monsters, and your ultimate goal is to outwit your opponent. It's a hand management card game. You basically protect your monsters and try to defeat your opponent's monsters, and you have counters, and your main goal is to destroy buildings and things of that nature. So.
Oh, cool. So I've never heard of that mechanic. Hand management card game. I've heard of deck building. I'm pretty fond of deck building. But what's that hand management card game? What is that?
So hand management is basically everything relies on the hand that you have currently. And you have, so basically to negate the luck factor in that game, since the game comprises of just one 160 card deck, and everyone, it's 2 to 4 players. And essentially you have the option of getting rid of cards in your hand and keeping cards in your hand. So you're basically just building your hand. It's almost like a hand building game, you could say, but it's more like hand management. So.
Okay, I was going to ask, so like a hand building as opposed to a deck building, I guess.
Yes, and you can have up to 10 cards in your hand at the end of your turn. So you have a lot of options as to what you want to do, and it's a quick drawing game too. So if you only have 3 cards in your hand, you draw back up to 5. So you're automatically drawing cards. So you can get rid of your whole hand and just draw 5 more. That's up to you if you want to do that.
Cool. So do you have a name or a place filler name or anything like that for it currently?
Yes, it's called Monster Mania, and it's actually on our Facebook page right now. We have artwork and stuff like that. So if people do want to check that out, that's on our page.
Cool. We'll make sure we leave everything in the show notes and whatnot for that kind of
Where
stuff.
did you get the idea for your game?
For my Western one or for my Monster one?
Your Western one.
My Western one? I was running through game ideas, and I had a couple of themes that I really love cowboys and stuff like that, and I thought that that would be a pretty good theme for a game, and I was very familiar with Westerns. I also had pirates on the mind, and a couple of other things, and even like aliens and stuff like that. But I thought Frontier, the Western game subject would be pretty relatable. So
Cool bean. So is it I see that it's a big card game. It looks like there's a lot of cards. Is this like a hand management game too, or a hand builder or a deck builder, or what kind of mechanics do you use in this game?
So in this game, it's a little different. It is strategy based, but it does rely on a lot of luck. I would say it's more. I wouldn't say it's press your luck because you don't have an option. You have to explore the deck. But I think the luck alleviates itself because even if you're just getting supplies from the deck, that still counts towards your total. And even if you lose, even if you die, your total still gets counted. So you're not being punished for that, which is a good thing.
So you can still win if you die?
You can technically. It's really hard because if you survive, you get 10 extra points, and that's a lot. That's a lot of points. So in this game, it's a lot of points. But yeah, that's just to kind of alleviate the luck, because it's kind of unfair if you're drawing nothing but supply cards and you can't do anything with them, So
Say it reminds me kind of like a role-playing game with cards. Is it similar to that or not necessarily?
you can be any Western character you want. Essentially, the gameplay is you have, it's 1 to 4 players. So, if you don't have anyone to play with at the moment, you could play by yourself. And that's what I think is a big positive, with the game. But basically you have the option of buying and selling from the store cards, and then you kind of just explore the deck and you use your bullets, your rations. There are a lot of supplies in the game, and you have to use them strategically. So
Cool. So I want to say during the video I saw something where there's 162 or so many cards that you have to actually go through for the play. Is that right?
that is correct. There's 173 actually.
Oh boy, was the video right, or I'm just have a bad my memory's that bad?
No, I might have said the wrong number. I'm not sure, but yeah, in the actual game itself, there's a total of 486 cards. There are quite a few, and the reason the reason I went with that was because we were initially going to have like a counter system for the supplies, and it ended up being that was going to be pretty expensive, so we decided to go with cards on that. So that's why there's so many.
Okay, and Josh, it's okay if you want to go by the royal we. We won't tell anybody if you want to do that.
If what's that?
If you decide to go by the royal we and refer to yourself as we won't tell anybody or to hold it against
Okay.
you.
Well, I'm actually the only person in the company technically. So this is a relatively new business, and we've been to a couple conventions, and we're trying to get the word out on the game. So
Okay, well there you go. So I know this is so how would gameplay look? Well, I mean, how would it sound? This is actually a audio podcast after all. So how would it sound if me and you sat down to play or whatnot?
So the setup of the game, so I'll start with that, and then I'll just delve into the turn. So basically, depending on the mode of difficulty, so that's what this game has. That a couple other games have that too. That you have your
Sounds good.
Your level of difficulty, kind of like a video game almost. And basically, you start with a set amount of supplies. So me and you, we would sit down. I would pass out the supplies to you, so you would get 6 bullets, 6 rations, 6 horses. 1 holster, 1 6-shooter, 6 silver dollars, and I would get the same amount. And then the person who watched a Western movie more recently gets to go first. And basically, the turn proceeds as you have the option of buying and selling from the 3. So there are 3 store cards that are set out at all times. So you have the option at all times to make a purchase or sell things in your possession. And that's the saloon, the mercantile, and the gunsmith. And once you've done that, you can also use your rations to increase your stamina, because you start with, depending on the level of difficulty, again, you might start with 10, you might start with 9, you might start with 8. It just depends on what you want to play as. So then the turn would proceed as you would just reveal 1 card, and you might go, man, this game's going to take forever. But here's what happens. So you collect notoriety along the way. So notoriety are indicated by 4 different card types that are sitting out that we can achieve as the game goes along. So basically, when we do certain things, like if we win a duel, or if we get rid of a critter, or if we rob a bank or rob a train, we're gaining notoriety. Then we eventually get that card. So the first card is Rebel. So your Rebel notoriety, you reveal 2 cards on your turn instead of 1. And the max is actually 4. So you can go up to Desperado notoriety. And that's when the game really picks up and you start to run into calamities more, and you're making more decisions, and it could hurt you and it could benefit you. So that's basically what the turn. That's your entire turn. It goes really fast too. So the gameplay we had at the last convention we were at, the game, we had 4 players playing, and the game was over in like 30 minutes. So.
Okay, so even if there's so many cards, it's still a pretty quick game.
Yeah, because of the notoriety that you get in the game, and then you're able to go through more cards each turn. So a player, at a certain point, all of us would be going through like 3 cards on our turn. That really starts to make a big dent in the deck. So
cool. This might be a silly question, but what exactly is notoriety?
So the notoriety. So I don't think I actually explained this aspect. I think I did in the intro there. But basically, your whole objective is to become the greatest outlaw that ever lived. So you're trying to make your mark on history, and the whole objective is to achieve notoriety. That's not going to win you the game, but it's going to get you more cards. And so basically, so there are 4 different notorieties. So there's Rebel, which just you reveal the 2 cards. And then you have your gunslinger status, which, duels cost 1 less bullet. You get an extra bullet every purchase you make. Then you got your outlaw, which that one is everything costs 1 less silver dollar. And then you got your desperado, which everything in your bounty pile increases by 1. So, and that's something I haven't really delved into either, but I mean, we can talk about that whenever you want to, but does that kind of make sense, the whole notoriety thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. So that's cool.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, you're trying to be the evilest, well, not villain, but the outliest outlaw in the West.
Essentially, that's the goal of the game. Yes, and you do that with a little bit of luck, but you also, like I said, if you're just gaining supplies, it's still going to count towards your total at the end. And we had some really, really close games, which was good because it balances it out. So.
You said you like westerns. Is that where you drew your inspiration for the game, or I don't remember if we already asked that.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit. I think it was more recently. I watched the Magnificent Seven, the original and the new one, and I love those kind of movies. I just love the whole atmosphere of a western. Settling things with duels. It's just it kind of harkens back to that age. So I think it's interesting, and I thought it would be a really good game mechanic. So, and it turned out that it was. So.
Cool. The Magnificent Seven. That's not the Netflix original movie, is it? With Jim Carrey, is it?
No, I don't think so. No. The Magnificent Seven has like Denzel Washington in it and a couple other notable actors and actresses. But it's a really good one. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's relatively new. It's got Chris Pratt in it too, the guy from Jurassic World. So. Cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. Yeah, but I want to say, let's see here. Yeah, I think I've seen it in the stores or whatnot, but yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So did they do a pretty good job on a Western?
Yeah, I think it kind of gave us like a more this generation's Western, because they don't really make Westerns anymore. They had like 310 to Yuma and stuff like that, High Noon and things of that nature, but now it's kind of more action than it is a Western. It's a big shootout. So, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it does seem pretty fun. Like Westerns, I really like them. Do you have an old time Western that you are fond of?
Not particularly. I did watch a few when I was younger. Like my uncle made me watch them, and I kind of fell in love with them. I think High Noon was one of them. But yeah, other than that, that's the only one I can really remember. So, but I just like the whole aspect of the Western, the saloon, it was very right for the picking. So.
Cool beans. No, actually, I think I misquoted myself. It's actually the one I was referring to. It's actually a different star. It's Adam Sandler. The Ridiculous Six is what the name of it is.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that. I have not seen it. I have not seen it yet. I've heard that it's good.
Yeah, it's not necessarily family friendly, but it's pretty funny.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to give that a shot for sure.
Yeah, I recommend it if you. Yeah, and it's kind of vulgar and stuff in points, but yeah, I like it. I thought it was pretty funny. I might have to go back and watch it again sometime. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So let's see here. So Western's cool. Do you read Western too? I know they have Louis Lamar. He's the one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I've seen that around. I used to work at a library, and I would see we'd have a Western section. Never really that big, unfortunately. But yeah, I never really read anything. I had to do some research for the game, though. I actually had to. I had a couple of books, just some Western like factual books and things of that nature. So I had to look through there and try to get inspiration from that too. So,
Cool. Did you have to do any traveling for your research? I want to say you're at I don't remember what they call it, but like the last frontier or whatnot, there in Missouri.
I I did not. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to do that. I wish I did, because that'd be really cool. But no, I think the inspiration came from what I've seen in movies, what I've seen in the TV shows, everything that I've read, the desert landscape, things of that nature. And that's kind of where it stemmed from, for sure.
Cool beans. Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't offend you. When I say Missouri, I know a lot of people say Missouri. I call it Missouri. I don't know why.
Oh no, it's okay. No, there's people in Missouri that call it Missouri, so it's not a huge deal. No, I guess it just depends where you're from and the dialect and stuff like that. So.
Cool. Yeah, I think I picked it up when I was out there, because we actually I was in the Air Force for a stint over there at Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, just across the river from St. Louis.
Yeah, I remember you had mentioned that. That's pretty close by. So less than from where I am right now. You're about less than 20 minutes away over there.
Cool beans. Yeah, I remember, vaguely remember. I think we didn't have a bar before, when we first got there. My wife's big into reading or whatnot. Well, she was into getting physical books before she got into getting games and whatnot. And so we spent a lot of time at Barnes and Noble. I think we had to come over to your neck of the woods, because when we first were stationed there, they didn't have a Barnes and Noble anywhere near us, so we had to always drive into Missouri.
Gotcha. Yeah, the Barnes and Noble. I was gonna say most bookstores nowadays are. I mean, the only big one that's really around is Barnes and Noble. So it's kind of sad.
Yeah, they put. Well, I remember. I think I was in the air. I want to say I was in the Air Force, or maybe right after I got out. That's when they closed borders. So, but I don't recall. But yeah, so going back to the gaming. After all, this is a gaming podcast. So let's see. Besides Frontier, the card game, do you have a favorite? Card game? Well, I guess, do you prefer card games or board games, or?
That is a good question, and I definitely prefer card games.
Why is that?
I grew up. I think, first of all, I think they're simpler. They're easier to use. There's not a lot of pieces. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the cleanup is a lot faster, and things of that nature. But mostly it's because I grew up playing card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and things of that nature. That was my forte. That's what I grew up playing. That's where a lot of my inspiration has come from. So, and I think that's a huge thing.
Okay, cool. So have you ever played 52 card pickup?
Unfortunately, once, yes. And I never played it again. So.
Oh boy. Cool. Yeah, that's not going to be a good game to play with yours, because it looks like there's a lot of cards.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of that'd be 486 card pickup. That would not be fun. And you have to rearrange everything too, because there's a lot of each different card. So.
Oh boy, there you go. So besides Frontier, the card game, do you have a current favorite card game you like?
I'd say one that's in stores and stuff. I would say Dommion, probably. It's my card game of choice. I still dabble in Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't poke fun, but yeah, I still duel my friend and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh!, but yeah, that's something I still dabble in. So.
No, not too much for the collectible card games. Did that come out after or before Pokemon?
That was, I think it was around the same time actually, and they got a lot of flack for kind of copying Magic the Gathering, but I was never really a Magic the Gathering guy, so kind of just have always been partial to Yu-Gi-Oh. So I don't know.
Cool. Well, there you go. Cool, cool. Yeah. So Dominion, that's a deck builder, isn't it? If I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I've never played it yet. People talk of it, but yeah, I do like did that mechanic. That I think that's my favorite mechanic, deck building. But I never played that one. I've played like Star Realms, and I think that's the main Star Realms, and Cthulhu Realms. Those are my favorite go-to deck builder games.
Oh yeah, those are two huge ones. But the thing is that people like forget, I think, was that Dominion was the one, I'm pretty sure, that started that deck building mechanic. I don't think anything preceded that. That was basically an invention of that person. So whoever created that, I don't know their name, but but yeah, that's.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I think that's correct. That sounds about right. So what do you like about Dominion, the card game?
I think it exactly what you said. It's just got that. It's got a great deck building mechanic, and I mean, and it's easy to pick up, and it's. I mean, it's that game has also inspired me in a sense. You know, we're at the moment we're working on a deck builder of our own, so trying to kind of delve into that a little bit too. So, but the deck building, there's just so many components, and Dominion has so many expansions, but it's a great game. It's just a great game. It's just easy to play, easy to pick up. So
cool, that's good. So yeah, that's cool. So it sounds like you have quite a few things in the hopper. Is that monster game going to be the next one, or?
Yes, that one is going to be the next one because the artwork is currently being done, and it looks really, really good. I mean, I'll give a shout out to both of my artists, Ellen Warning, who did Frontier. I actually went to school with her, and she was just incredible. She, shouldered the brunt of all of that. And then Tate is the one that's doing Monster Mania. And again, she's doing just a smash up job, no pun intended, because they're monsters. But it's been really fun so far. But yeah, that's definitely our next release. So
cool beans. So yeah, it reminds me. Have you played Smash Up?
I have, and when I said that, I was wondering if you were going to make that reference. And yes, I absolutely love that game. It's amazing.
Cool. Yeah, my kids are big fans of it. I don't know if it's just playing with them or whatnot. It just seems a little bit too chaotic for me, unfortunately.
I agree with you in a sense. If you're playing with more than, we found out that around 2 to 3 players is the easiest way to do it, and yeah, it gets a little chaotic because people's turns just kind of, and there's so many rules, and they're like, oh, if this card moves to this base and this card moves to, it's a lot to take. But once I think 2 to 3 players, it's pretty good. It's really good, actually.
Cool. I do, however, enjoy the smashing up the different things. I forget what they are, but maybe like pirates and ninjas, or I think unicorns and kittens and different things you can smash together.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually one of the I mentioned the deck builder that we are working on now. It's like a mix of Smash Up, Dominion, and like Yu-Gi-Oh! In that sense, Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering, if you want to go that route. But yeah, it's just a great game. So
cool. So will that be a collectible card game?
It will not. It'll actually come with there's 6 classes, so it's kind of like Smash Up in that sense, where they have the card types that do certain things. That motif has been done more than once. But yeah, that's there's the undead, and there's dragons and things of that nature. So it'll come with that, but there'll be expansions for sure. There's plenty. Cool
beans. So does that have a place, Phil? Oh, I forget. We asked you about the monster one. Is that the set name you're going to go with for the monster one that you gave us?
Yes, it is. Yes, and it'll probably, to avoid. There were a couple of, when we didn't really realize this, but I had come up with that name like a long time ago, and when we had searched like copyright and stuff like that, there were a couple of Monster Manias, so it's probably going to be Joshua McMurray's Monster Mania than the copyright. So because of apparently there's a Monster Mania that's spelled out with one word. It's just like Monster Mania, no space, and it's an app or something. So we're gonna try to avoid that. We don't want any we don't want any.
Will that work out? I don't know anything about copyright laws, but throwing your name in front, will that work out?
Yeah, because there's a couple that we saw. It was there was one. It was like a cookie company, and it said the cookie company's name. I think it was like Nestle's Monster Mania cookies or something like that. So I think if you just throw a name in front of there, because you can't really copyright two words. Like I think the rule is you can't copyright two words. You can copyright the logo. So that's probably what we'll go with. Is we'll just copyright the logo. And
well, there you go. Cool. And what about? Do you have a placeholder name for your deck builder? That sounds pretty intriguing. Yes,
we do actually. It's called Warstorm. That's just the prototype name right now. One word. And it's we've had a ton of good reviews so far for it, and that it's really easy to pick up, and especially if you love deck builders, if you've played games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, it's got similar mechanics. It's different enough where it separates itself from those three games, but you can tell that all of those mechanics are combined into one, and it works really well. So
cool bean. So going back to reviews, you mentioned reviews and whatnot. So going back to your game Frontier, the card game, is there any review places we can find where other people reviewed it, maybe YouTubers or other podcasts or anything like that?
Unfortunately, there is not. There are a lot of reviews on our Facebook page. So you can definitely check those out there. We had people from a couple of the conventions do that, and they've also backed the project so far. And I think we're at 20 backers right now. So we're getting up there steadily, a little bit at a time, but every day it does increase. So that's a good thing. So, but yeah, you can definitely check those out on Facebook.
Cool. There you go. That's pretty exciting. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. So, if per se somebody's fallen asleep at the wheel and they get jolted awake so they don't run into that semi coming or run off the road, and they wouldn't have fallen asleep because of probably because of my voice, not because of your game or you, because they're tired of my podcast or something by now. So per se that's happened, and they suddenly jolted awake, and so they're catching the tail end of this. Why should they go ahead and take a chance on Frontier the card game, especially with all those other games that they have available on the Kickstarters?
I think people should take a chance on Frontier because it is a simple game, because it does have a lot of components to it, but you're getting a lot of, and again, no pun intended, but bang for your buck. A lot of those games with over 400 cards, they cost upwards of $30, $40. We're doing a thing where, the rewards are $25. You get a copy of the game, name in the rule book, and then $30 you get the two Kickstarter exclusive cards and the game, and then you're getting your name in the rule book as well. So I think it's, and also I've put, I can't even count the amount of hours I put into the game, but you can tell that the rules are clean. That's a couple of the reviews that we've gotten. The rules are really clean. They're concise. There aren't any loopholes. And we've had even families play it, and they love it too. So
cool beans. Now I want to say, I don't know, I'd have to go back and watch the video. I want to say maybe I saw it on the video or I saw it somewhere. Is the rule book like a kind of what I would think of as like a hardback rule book from a role playing game?
That was our prototype version. So when we had it made, we went through GameCrafter, and they didn't have very many options, unfortunately. So we kind of had to stick with what was. So we got the biggest box, and what you saw there was the full color booklet, and it is thick. And unfortunately, unless you order it separately, you're not going to get the big full color one. You'll get the standard one that comes with with the actual game. So unfortunately, that is a prototype cover, and we couldn't really get a nice picture of anything else. So because they didn't really have anything. So unfortunately,
Is that an option for somebody to get a big one like that if they were interested in it?
No, at this time there isn't. I mean, they can go to GameCrafter. It's on the shop. They could buy it from there. It's really expensive because it's print on demand. So it's not the best option. If you want the absolute cheapest option, that would be going with what's on Kickstarter right now. And the box isn't going to be as big, but to hold 486 cards, it's going to be it's going to look at least close to that. It's just not going to be of that size. And we did put that down there in the bottom part, just letting people know that. So it's not false advertising or anything. We're not trying to be like that about it. So.
Well, there you go. Cool. Now, I don't know if you've heard any of our podcasts, but the next section on the podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about a different application, whether it be for cell phone or tablet or a video game or computer, or any kind of application that you might use. Is there an application that you use? It doesn't have to be related to card games or board games or anything like that.
I don't really use apps. I'm kind of old school, I guess you could say. I'll just use this as an example. I use I don't know if this really counts, but Photoshop. I don't know if that counts.
Well, let's count it. Yeah, if you use it, let's count it.
Yeah, that's a big one that we use. That's how we make all the revisions and whatnot. So it's very, very critical to what we do, and it's actually how I made the 2 Kickstarter exclusive cards too. So without it, I wouldn't be able to make any of those changes and do stuff like that. So.
Cool. I imagine a lot of people have heard about it, but what can you tell us about Photoshop?
So Photoshop, it's hard to learn, but once you've mastered it, you can make any changes, you can make any revisions, and that was a really, really big thing. Was my artist, graphic designer, not that we didn't want to pay her anymore, but we didn't want to keep throwing stuff at her. We felt bad, so I had to learn it myself, and I did, and once you learn it, it's absolutely golden. It's one of the best applications out there. So
cool beans. So if you own the rights to Photoshop, what would be one thing you would do to make it better, though, Joshua?
I think just the functionality of the site. I think this should be easier to navigate. I think I had a lot of issues with resizing things and taking images from other cards that we had and things of that nature. So maybe make it more functional in that sense. But other than that, I have absolutely no complaints. It's just been a saving grace. So.
Cool beans. Well, we hope to make a green podcast what people can go back and listen to. So I don't know if they're listening right now, but if the creators of Photoshop are ever listening, and you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, what Joshua from Meet Me at the Table Games would do to make that a better application.
Absolutely.
Cool beans. So minus coming there to Missouri to stalk you in your hometown, how would people go about finding you, Joshua?
There are 3 ways. Actually, there's 4. We just got an Instagram account. So we have our website, which is still currently being developed. It's about a couple of days away from being live. We have our Facebook page, which is just Facebook Meet Me at the Table Games, and then we have. You can contact me via email, and you can also contact us on our Instagram and things of that nature. So that would be the easy.
Cool, and we'll make sure we leave that all in the show notes. And I don't know why I keep the last one I did as well, but I keep forgetting until the end to ask. So, or maybe I did. I don't think I did. But per se, somebody takes a chance on the Frontier, the card game, and backs it there on the Kickstarters. When should they? I know you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but when should they anticipate getting their in between 400 and 500 cards? I think you said.
Yes. So they would get that. Our date. So we contacted our manufacturer already, and that's how we got the quote and everything, and the price, and that's why it's at 10,000. But their estimation was February. So with the November end date, it would be about February before people got their stuff. So
it's at 10:19 Mountain Standard Time.
Yeah, that's correct.
19 p.m. I think that's what they go off of. Okay, cool. So, what's been sorry, and I know a couple of fans asked me to ask these things. What's been the hardest part of Kickstarter for you?
I think the hardest thing so far, so the setup was okay. The setup was fine. The video uploading and things of that nature. I think the hardest aspect is actually something that you probably wouldn't think, but when people cancel their pledges, you kind of feel a little defeated. We've had 3 people do that so far, and there's really no way to contact them. So once they've done that, that's it. So we don't really have, we tried to contact them. We went above and beyond to try to find their email or something like that, and try to see, hey, what happened? What happened? But I think also another aspect would be what the goal should be. The goal is one of the hardest things to estimate. Even if you think that should be your number, it's either you lowball it or you highball it, and if you don't make enough money, it's all for nothing. So that kind of that kind of stuff is hard, I would say.
Okay, and did you? Sorry, one more thing about that. Did you choose 60 days then, or how many days did you end up choosing?
Yes, I did choose 60 only because it was our first project. And I felt like that would be enough time to get backers. And we're actually attending another convention coming up in October. It's in Missouri. It's Springfield, Missouri, actually. It's GAME. So we'll be there displaying both games, actually, Frontier and Monster Mania there. So hopefully we'll get some potential backers there as well. So we're crossing our fingers for. So.
Well, there we go. There you go. Cool. Well, yeah, I wanted to once again thank you for joining us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief tonight. We really appreciate it, Joshua.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
That was Barbarian Leaf thanking you, so I appreciate that. So let's see here. Good afternoon. Welcome to Kickstarter Corner. This is Game Relief. I'll be hosting Kickstarter Corner today, and we've got several lovely games to bring you. First off, we wanted to tell you all about Angelblood Publishing presents the tabletop RPG we all want. After 13 long years, Angelblood, the tabletop RPG, is ready to be unleashed on the masses. It's time for everyone to be a game changer. Check them out on the Kickstarter right now at the time of this recording. They have 22 days to go, and they're almost to their goal. They're at $2,320 out of $5,000. Check them out. And also, it looks like they're going to do a live stream of character creation on October 18th at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So check them out. That's live on Kickstarter, so check that out. You can check out the creation of the character creation live on the Kickstarters. We'll leave a link in the show notes for sure. We've also got Re-chord. It's a guitar theme strategy game for 2 to 4 players. Become a tabletop guitar hero. So bring games like, Guitar Hero? I want to say there's a game called Guitar Hero. Bring it to the tabletop. And so that's pretty cool, ain't it? You get cool things. You get 30 real guitar picks, and they're amazing. Check it out on the Kickstarters. They've got 9 days to go at the time of this recording, so about 8 days to go. And they're struggling a little bit, but let's bring them up to their goal. They're at 6,609 out of 14,950. Let's bring them up to their goal. This looks like a really kick butt game. Let's do it. Over on the Kickstarter. Remember, come to our show notes and click the link. And then we've got SPACEFIGHTER, tabletop space fighting in space. SPACEFIGHTER is a 2-player space theme tabletop strategy game. 30-minute games. And you got to hear this.
Space fighter fighting in space.
Gotta love that. I love it. Don't you? So check them out on the Kickstarters. They're going through, they got 18 days to go at the time of this recording. They'll end Sunday, November 5th at 1:21 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Do not miss out on SPACEFIGHTER fighting in space. I in no way do justice to that, but check it out on the Kickstarter. And then we've got Adventures in Zombiewood, and this game, it looks really cool. Actually, there's actually a post on GeekDad geekdad.com from the 13th of October, Friday the 13th, of course. Geek Dad put this up. It talks all about Adventures in Zombiewood. Check them out on the Kickstarters today, and yeah, it looks like, I want to say he really liked it. Let's see, he kind of went through the Kickstarter, what they have, how to play, core gameplay, combat. He just kind of went through it, the setup, everything, all in his blog. He went through the Horde, GameEnds, why you should play Zombie. Well, let's see. He said fans of zombie movies should find plenty of love here. Adventures in Zombiewood is a quick game, perfect for beer, if you drink beer, we don't, pretzels, and reminiscing about your favorite zombie movies. It may be a perfect game to play during a zombie flick or between movies during a zombie movie marathon. So, yeah, Geek Dad really liked it, so check it out over there on both. You can look at the Geek Dad blog, we'll leave that in the links, as well as our Kickstarter over on the Kickstarters. And let's see if there's a link here, if it'll take us directly there. Hopefully it will. Well, check them out on the Kickstarter. I imagine there's a way to get there from here, so let me see what I can do for you, because we want to make this podcast easy listening, where you can just go in and click a link, don't you think? Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Where you can go in and click a link. Yep, click a link. I don't know what I said before, but it was funny. So let's see here. So what was it? It's called Adventures in Zombiewood. So instead of Hollywood, they got zombies and Zombiewood. That's cool. So let's check them out on the Kickstarter, shall we? Yes, we shall. Adventures in Zombiewood. Now on the Kickstarter today. And let's see what I can tell you all about it. We are struggling because the Kickstarter is not showing up right away. Well, there you go. You may have to look a little bit, but it's there. And they have funded. Yes, sir. They have funded. They're $92 above their goal, and they still got 25 days to go. So they're at $3,092 out of $3,000. Make sure you back them so you don't miss out on this fun zombie flick game. Yes, sir, Bob. Yes, sir, Bob. Now, then we also have Roadkill Vendetta, the tabletop game where horsepower meets firepower, with rules and models for all new factions, warlords, vehicles, and support units. Check them out on the Kickstarters. They have 18 days to go. They're at $3,283 out of the $29,000 goal. Check them out on the Kickstarters. You can drive all these cool minis of cars. They have a bunch of dice. They have a bunch of different things. Check them out on the Kickstarters. Roadkill Vendetta, Ultimate Car Combat. So that's cool. Check them out on the Kickstarters for sure. And then just recently, one has launched by Kevin Watson, and it's called Confronting Hastor. It's part of a role-playing game. It's Dark Naga, Confronting Hastor, and it's recently started on the Kickstarter. And also check it out, because if you go to thegiveawaygeek.com, I'm sure that you will find a giveaway about this game where you can win that. Yeah, you can find out that I've teamed up with the Giveaway Geek to bring you a new game that's live on Kickstarter. The giveaway, what you can get from the Dark Naga people over there, is the giveaway the full set of the four titles in PDF: The Lost Temple of Forgotten Evil, The Buried Ziriat, The City of Talos, and Confronting Hastor, and 2 print modules of your choice, as well as 6 Naga dice, which include 2 brown D6, 2 brown D10, and 2 green D6, one winner. And the prize value is approximately $82 USD. This giveaway will end the 12th of November, and it is open worldwide with some exclusions. And let's see here. Make sure that you check them out on the Kickstarter so you can go ahead and back them as well. Let's see here. But you have until the 12th of November to check out that giveaway. Check them out, and also check them out on the Kickstarter. You don't want to be left in the dark on this one. It is actually Sandbox Adventure, The Confronting a Pastor. And I recently learned about what that is by listening to my favorite podcast, the Glass Cannon Podcast. And you can too. Check them out. They're not necessarily family friendly as we are over here at Getting Geeky with Game Relief, but definitely give them a listen. I really like it. It's pretty funny. And I'm about a year in. Well, anyways, this has been Getting Geeky with Game Relief, and we will catch you all on the flip side. Peace out, my people.
This episode has been brought to you by Casual Game Revolution. Check them out on casualgamerrevolution.com.
Casualgamerevolution.com.
Goodbye.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.